Today's title is Rounding Whole Numbers. Go ahead and write that at the top of your page. The objective to today's lesson is I will show how to use place value to round whole numbers. With your shoulder partner, I'd like you to make two lists. First list needs to be 5 numbers that are greater than 300 and round to 300. The second list is another list of 5 numbers that are greater than 300 but round to 400. So go ahead and solve that with your shoulder partner. There are many different numbers that fit the first criteria. So if I was going to find a number that was greater than 300 but rounded to 300, an example could be 314. Another example could be 327 or 339. When rounding to 300, you would need to look at the place value that is right before the hundreds place. In this case, we'd be looking at the tens place. So when you look at the tens place, notice that this number is less than 5, so we're going to round down to 300. For my other list, I could give a number such as 352, 368, 371. All of these numbers are greater than 300, but they round to 400. Again, when you're looking to round, you look at the place value that is right next to the hundreds place, which would be the tens place. All of these numbers are 5 or greater. So a conclusion would be to round to 300s, the tens digit is less than 5. To round to 400, the tens digit is 5 or greater. So to figure out which number goes in each column, you have to look at the tens place. So if I was to give you the number 348, we need to look at the tens place. The tens place is a 4. Based off of our conclusion, 4 is less than 5, so that means we're going to round to 300. So 348 would be in this column. If I had the number 383, I'm going to look at the tens place. The tens place is greater than 5, so I'm going to place that. It's going to round to 400, so it will go in this column. Go ahead and write the following statement in your notes. When rounding, look at the digit to the right of the place value you are rounding to. So we were rounding to the hundreds place. So the place value to the right would be the tens place, the 3. And so that number, based off of our conclusion, 3 is less than 5, so we know that we would round down to 300. If it is 5 or more, you would need to add one more. If it's 4 or less, let it rest. That's a way to remember what you need to do when you're rounding. So again, if the tens place was 5 or more, you're going to add one more to the hundreds place to round to 400. If the tens place was 4 or less, you're going to let it rest. This means if you have a number in the tens place that is 4 or less, you're going to keep the hundreds place the exact same number. So if it was, in this case, it's a 3, so you're just going to keep it the same. That means let it rest. With your shoulder partner, I'd like you to discuss the question. What are some rules for using place value to round numbers? This is a review of what we talked about. See if you can tell each other what were the rules that you need to know when rounding numbers.